Welcome to Tunis International Radio for this Tuesday edition of the English language program with the maestro Sonia Hédi and Jeanette Ouharani for the technical assistance, and I'm your host Adnen Chaouachi. My guest today, the Secretary of State for the Americas and Asia, Hédi Ben Abess. We'll talk about the meeting at the National Constituent Assembly this morning, the Congress for the Republic, the situation in the country, and the Tunisian-American bilateral relations. Hédi, welcome to RTCI.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm really glad to be here.
Thank you for accepting the invitation. Let's listen to our first track for today. I'll be back in about 3 minutes, so stick around and stay tuned. I'm walking away by Great Debit. Welcome back. It's 2:04 now, radio station, and my guest is the Secretary of State for the Americas and Asia, Mr. Hédi Ben Abess. Welcome back again, Hédi.
Welcome. Thank you for the invitation once again. This is the second time, I guess, to participate in an English program, and this is the opportunity for me just to practice my English again.
This happens on your RTC. This is what I usually say to my guests.
So this is really the safe haven for languages, and we need to preserve it and even to reinforce it. Listening programs in Spanish, English, French, of course, Italian, German. This is Tunisia. This is the diversified Tunisia that we wish to preserve.
And let's talk about the diversity at the National Constituent Assembly. You have attended this morning's session at the Assembly. Could you give us an idea about the atmosphere?
Let me tell you about my own feeling.
Yeah,
it is a mixed feeling because it was supposed to be a day of celebration. We are celebrating 1 year of democracy, or at least the beginning of democracy. And the assembly was not that full. I really regret that the opposition representatives were absent from the assembly.
Just some members?
Yes. Big number.
They have boycotted the session.
Yes, but this is really sad because the government was invited to the assembly, and it is their place. The people voted for them to represent them in that place, and to desert it in a day as this one, which is to celebrate democracy, to celebrate the first time that we organize elections. Fair elections in the country, and to be absent in this day is really for me very saddening, because they have missed an opportunity to create that unity around the institutions. And the Constituent Assembly is an institution. It is an elected institution, the first elected institution ever in Tunisia, and they have to be there just to say that we are sticking to democratic values. We believe in these institutions. I think that the predominant idea in their mind is probably political, what is at stake in terms of political agenda, and it is regrettable.
But you know that some critics and even MPs claim that there's no reason to celebrate the 23rd of October because the objectives of the revolution have not been realized or met, and the constitution is not ready. This is what they say.
The constitution is not ready for a number of different reasons. The first is probably some slowness in the pace they have inside the Constituent Assembly. But the question is not about what we have achieved or not achieved. It is about the institution itself. It is their institution. It is the place where they have to be, and it is really something that we have achieved collectively. To have a Constituent Assembly with people elected. They are ruling the country, actually. We are not talking about the government. This is another problem. We are talking about the most important institution, democratic institution in the country. So they have to be there. It is their duty. And of course, if we look at the work they have done, I think that we have not to be ashamed of. They have already written the first draft of the Constitution, which is already an achievement. We have reduced the gap between the different political parties as far as the major issues are concerned in terms of freedom, personal and collective freedoms, in terms of the relationship with the Sharia, and the terms of the relationship with the sacred, equality between men and women. These are major achievements, and history will certainly record what the Constituent Assembly has achieved so far. So they have to be proud of their work, and of course they have to come not to celebrate just to show off, but just to say that we believe in these institutions, and not by deserting that institution that they show that they believe in it. So for me it is they have missed a real genuine opportunity to say that we are now engaged into a democratic process, and what we have achieved in this place, we will never give up. We are going to build upon it. This is a positive way of seeing it.
You will never give up. There's a song that I like, which is What It's Like by Everlast, and he never gives up as well. Let's listen and enjoy. We'll be back. What It's Like by Everlast. Welcome back. It's 2:14 on our radio station, and my guest is Hédi bin Abess, Secretary of State for the Americas and Asia. Hédi, welcome back again.
Thank you.
Now I want to move to the presence of the two presidents, Dr. Monsef Marzouki, the President of National Constituent Assembly, and the Prime Minister, who attended this morning's session at the National Constituent Assembly. They have talked about the value or the importance of the 23rd of October. Was this a kind of message of unity?
Yes, definitely. 23rd of October, if you look at the span of history, Tunisian history, is a date that is going to be really historical in its broad meaning. It is historical because it is something that we can certainly identify with, but it is also historical in terms of change, social and political change in Tunisia. We moved from one way of seeing the world and one way of seeing us in the world to another. I have the feeling, and I had that feeling on the 23rd of October, that we have all of a sudden switched to the other side of the freedom-loving nations. And it is an amazing feeling, because we have never been used to that. And I feel that it is a great achievement. We have overcome the feeling of fear, the feeling of not being a citizen. And all of a sudden we found ourselves feeling that we count. We are no longer just numbers or figures on a paper, on an identity card, but we are just citizens, and we have rights, and we are waking up for those rights. And seeing people now, today, you asking me freely any question that comes across your mind, and me answering you with the same freedom of speech, is an amazing achievement. And it seems that people are not aware of that. They seem to forget what we have witnessed and lived for many decades now. And for me, this is something absolutely valuable that we have to cherish day and night, and we have to work hard to preserve. And the 23rd of October testifies to that drastic, dramatic, significant change in our lives. So we have to celebrate it, not to once again to celebrate it in the way that we used to celebrate some dates, but we have to celebrate it in terms of public achievement, and not the glory of any leader, of any political leader. It is the achievement of the people of Tunisia, and they have done it, which is not, again, very easy to achieve. They made it by themselves, without any people trying to galvanize them, trying to indoctrinate them in a way or another. They did it by their own hands, by the sacrifice of our youth. And this is why it is a very important day, in terms of the change of the way of speaking, change of the way of thinking, and that is the major achievement. So the 23rd of October is going to be a major date in modern history, that we have certainly to think about it from time to time, not just for the sake of celebration, but for the sake of putting an end to the old regime once and for all, by memorizing this date, by keeping it fresh in our minds, we certainly will manage to achieve that major change in our way of thinking and living and the institutions. So for me it is again very, very, very important, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the political parties. Number of them, most of them did not exist before 2 years ago, and therefore it is the 23rd of October that gave them, or at least some of them, a very tangible existence on the ground. So we owe that date our existence on the political agenda.
Amazing. Are we in a way rewriting our history in Tunisia?
Oh yes, we are definitely rewriting it, or at least we are writing a new chapter, but because we cannot rewrite it.
Do you think it's different from the old one?
Oh yes, it is different. We are really taking a very different path. And in my understanding, this is the right path that we've been looking for years. Because contrary to what some people used to say, the people of Tunisia are really mature for democracy. They are really enough intelligent, enough responsible to be part of the democratic world. And I'm saying this not to flatter our ego, but it is just by way of comparison. It happens that I travel around frequently. I can make that comparison. I used to live in a democratic country for 30 years, and I know that if you compare the way people think, the way people understand the world and their place in the world, you certainly understand then that the Tunisians are really exceptional in comparison with some other countries in the Arab world. So because we are a bit exceptional for a number of different reasons, many of them are historical and cultural, that we are really ready for democracy. Look at the speed with which people manage to understand the democratic institution. Look at the debate that took place in the Constituent Assembly around the Constitution when it was a question of women and equality with man, and how almost half of the population started to discuss the importance of the word complementarity. What does it mean? What is the implication of this word? And the civil society, the society in general, was really engaged into a very fruitful debate around this word. So this is one way to testify to the maturity of these people, and they are very vigilant. Look at anything, any decision, any word pronounced by any political, immediately a matter of discussion and in social networks, on newspapers, television, radios, everywhere. This again testifies to the development, the social development of this country, and these are positive elements. Of course, we are going through dire straits. Of course we have ups and downs, and this is a process. We have to see it as a process, and in a process you see where it started and where it is going, and to evaluate it you have to see the relationship between the time spent and the achievements done. Though of course in between the time you start and the time you end you may have some problems. You can go back sometimes, or you can bounce and you hop on forward, and this is what a process is. It is never linear. It is never steady progression, because we are dealing with human beings, and of course they are not machines. They are human beings. They have their own ideas, and of course they discuss. And whenever we have discussions, we have contradictions. And whenever we have contradictions, we have people that may differ on one issue or another. And those differences of perception imply that we have to stop and to discuss. So the process cannot go swiftly and smoothly. And we need to have contradictions. We need to have oppositions. And this is one of the basic ingredients of democracy, that we have different ideas and we confront them and we try to convince people that my idea is probably better than yours, and if I manage to convince them, it means that they will give me responsibility, and if I fail they have to change me. it is as simple as that. So we need to believe in the democratic process itself. If we do not, it means that we're not worth it.
So how do you respond to your critics and analysts who claim that the ruling troika has failed in achieving the objectives of the revolution?
Oh, if we try to avoid the overall assessment, because things are not as simple as that. If we take different aspects and we make a very close look at what the government has achieved so far, we will certainly change our understanding. Let me give you an example. I'm not speaking about the government now. I'm going to speak about the Constituent Assembly. I think that they have done a great job because they are working on the future of Tunisia. They are not working according to a political agenda. They are working for the writing of the constitution that is going to be implemented for at least 100 years. So this is very important, right? And what they have done so far is from a technical point of view, is really important and very, very positive. We will have one of the most modern, brilliant constitutions in the world. I'm saying this, though I'm not one of those who are writing it, but I know. I know what they have already written, and I think they've been inspired by a number of different constitutions and number of different systems in the world, and they are trying to take the best of each, and we will have a very, very promising constitution for the future of our children and and the other generations that will come after us. So this is one of the most important achievements. When it comes to dealing with the government, it is different, because let me tell you some basic elements. If you look at the biggest powers in the world, look at what is going on in France, and look at what is going on in Italy and in Greece and so on and so forth. Look at what is going on in the European Union. They have major crisis, economic crisis, and they are cutting salaries. They have a lot of problems. Though in Tunisia we are moving from a democratic, not a democratic, but a tyrannical regime, an autocratic regime, to democracy, and they have left the country as an empty shell. And we are trying to find ways to get out of this mess, which is not at all easy, given the circumstances in the region,
local and international.
Local and international. And the government is trying to do its best, but at the same time, we have very, very high pressure from the people, who are asking us for delivery. They want us to deliver because they've been expecting that for years, and they think that this is a legitimate elected government, and therefore we need to meet their expectations, which is not easy at all. Again, given the circumstances. At the same time, they don't want us to borrow money from abroad. So we don't have money, we cannot borrow money, but we have to deliver, which is a very, very difficult equation. Despite all that, we are sowing. And you know that when you sow, you cannot harvest immediately.
Sure.
And I think that we have to understand that the coming governments will certainly harvest what we are sowing today. So people have to be patient, a little bit patient with us, and the future is certainly going to be brighter than now.
We'll have a short break with music and the news update, and we will talk about the future of the Congress for the Republic and future government in Tunisia and the Tunisian-American bilateral relations. Jeannette, 15 secondes de نرجع مش نكمل هادي. Kiss from a Rose. Welcome back. It's 2:38 on our radio station and my guest is the Secretary of State for the Americas in Asia, Hédi bin Abess. Hédi, some listeners have posted a question on Facebook. They are asking about the future of the Congress for the Republic.
The future can only be bright. This is again a very optimistic statement.
You're very optimistic.
Yeah, but I need to, because otherwise we cannot work. I'm fueling myself with optimism. Because I think that when you are facing such a situation, you can not only be enthusiastic about it, but you have to be optimistic, because the challenge is big, but the outcome is very important and interesting for Tunisia. So this is why we need to believe in the process itself. We need to believe in ourselves, and we need to work. We cannot work if we are not optimistic. So I wake up in the morning, after having been said the evening before, but in the morning when I wake up, I say that I have to go to work, and I have to work, and I have to build up something that may help the process go forward. So optimism is very important. The CPR or the CFR is a very important party, not for itself, but for democracy in Tunisia. It is situated in a position on the political agenda that it has to play a very important role. We certainly do not want Tunisia to slide into bipartisan, to slide into these two poles fighting each other. On the one hand you have another, and on the other hand you have another party. So we do not want that. We want a very lively political agenda in Tunisia, and therefore we need to have strong medium parties, and this is what the CPR is, because we do believe in democracy. We have been born from the real matrix, if I may say so, of democracy, and it is there that we have fostered our project. And the project for the CPR is really in tune with what Tunisian people are. We believe in democracy, we believe in modernity, we believe in authenticity at the same time. We know who we are. We are very confident in terms of our identity. We do not need anybody to tell us who we are. We don't need some people to tell us that you're Muslim or not Muslim. We know who we are. And when you know who you are, you can build upon that. And we are building upon that basic element that related to our identity as Tunisians, being open, modern, diversified, mixed, believing in influences, whatever their origins are, and we have organized our party around those principles, and we want to defend them because they look like Tunisia, because they speak to us, they speak to our mind and heart. And this is why the CPR has to exist, once again, not for itself, but for the ideas the party is defending. And we are creating that medium place, that balance we are trying to strike between Islamism on the one hand and extreme secularism on the other. We are in a way in between, somewhere in between, and we are trying to find a compromise between these two aspects of our identity. And this is why the CPR has to be strong, again, because we need to create that dynamics in society on the political agenda once again. And that dynamics cannot be created unless we have strong medium parties standing firm in the middle. We want Tekatel to exist because it is very important to have Tekatel. We want other parties also to exist in that central position, because without a central position we will leave the political life to extremism, and this is what we wish not to.
Mr. Hédi bin Abess, optimism is very important in a democracy, but money is also important in politics, and the problem with the CPR is that you don't have the means.
Yes, this is our quality and our problem at the same time, because we are really,
I think it's equality.
Yes, we are idealistic, and we decided not to mix between money and politics, because we have a bad experience about that. Not us as CPR, but Tunisia has a bad experience about mixing up politics with money. But as long as money is organized according to strict legal structures, there's no reason, absolutely no reason whatsoever, not to be helped by those who believe in our project, those who think that the CFR or the CPR can play a major role in the democratic process. And I think that we need the CPR to be again very active in the political life, because it has to guarantee democracy for this country, because we still need a party like ours.
But you can be active without money.
Yes, this is why we are going to change our perspective, and we are going to find ways to raise funds and to have people supporting us and supporting our ideas and supporting the democratic project that we are defending. People know that without the CPR, what we have already achieved could not have been achieved. You understand that if another they have their own ideas, and this is fair enough, and we made them change progressively to come and to discuss and find ways to create a compromise. They have changed their idea about the Sharia, they have changed their idea about the parliamentary regime, they have changed their idea about the sacred, and all that came after the interaction between another and the CPR. This is why our role today is very important for the future of democracy.
You're talking about the CPR and another as well, but what about the Takattul?
And the Takattul.
What about the role of Takattul within the Troika?
I think that they are playing also a very important role. Takattul and Mu'tamar, Takattul and CPR are not that far away when it comes to dealing with ideas. We are very close. We differ on very minor subjects.
Is it the same 1 year after the elections?
I think that the Takattul has made a big move forward to come and meet us in the CPR on the ground of ideas and on the ground of understanding of our society. And this made it very easy for me to engage into fruitful discussions with some of the Takattul leaders. I'm quoting my friend Elias Farfer, with whom I have very interesting discussions about ways to put together our energies and find ways to create something poignant, something that can be significant on the political agenda. And we are working hard on that, because we have what we share is much bigger than what is different between us. This is why I think that the Takattul and Mu'tamar and some other democratic forces can join actually those forces and create probably a third alternative that Tunisia needs. Because frankly speaking, we do not want to leave the political stage
for one or two parties.
For one or two parties, that would be dreadful for democracy.
You think that would be the end?
That would be the end, yes. History may give us so many instances testifying to that. I think that Nahda does not want it to be that way, because they believe in democracy. And I think that we need to create that diversity, political diversity. That is the only guarantee for democracy, at least for this period, for this transitional period that is going to last for probably 10 or 15 years. It is not a simple question of organizing elections, but the transition is going to last, meaning that until we have firm, steady, unshakable institutions, and that will take time, because we need institutions, but we need another revolution in the mind. We need people to change their way of thinking. We need democracy to get into the nitty-gritty, into the fabric of their own minds, into the way they think, they behave at home and outside, in their houses, with their children, and of course in society. So to achieve that, we need time. And we need also institutions that are very strong to defend this wonderful project of democracy. But for this transitional period, until we have those institutions, we need to have many political parties acting on the political stage and having a very effective role in order to create that checks and balances that we need in any democracy. So this is why Takatul, CPR, they have to be there, they have to be strong, they have to keep on playing this role by striking a balance between different poles. The Nahda one and of course the other pole that is trying to organize itself these late days.
I'd like to move to the Tunisian-American bilateral relations. How do you describe the Tunisian-American relations after the revolution?
To tell you that it is
after the revolution and after the attacks on the US Embassy and the school, Lamina.
It has gone through at least 2 stages. The first stage was a honeymoon, a genuine honeymoon. They were absolutely supportive of the revolution. They're supportive of democracy. They, let me put it simply, they believed in us, and it is a wonderful achievement. They believed in our project. They believed that this people, the Tunisian people, is absolutely ready for democracy, and this nascent democracy should be defended and protected. And they still believe in that. Of course, this belief
even after the
has been shaken.
The attack.
Yes, it has been shaken a bit, and we can understand that there's some hesitation now, but this hesitation is now dissipating progressively, leaving room for realism, leaving room for tangible things. They know what we have achieved in the writing of the Constitution, because that is the basic thing. Of course, the 14th of September was a very, very sad day, and it has dealt our relationship a big blow, but we are recovering from that. Let me give you some news.
Yes,
I'm leaving on Sunday to New York, then to Washington, and this visit is really one of those visits that put an end to the misunderstanding. It is going to put an end to the misunderstanding. I will have the opportunity, I will be given the opportunity to speak on CNBC, which is the major economic channel worldwide, and they will give me 30 minutes to speak about my country, to speak about the opportunity in Tunisia, to speak about the democratic process, to speak about investment, and this means that they are once again opening their doors for Tunisia, and we have to of course take advantage of this opportunity that is given to us once again, along with a very important conference I'm going to deliver in the CFR, the Council for Foreign Relations, which is one, or if not the biggest think tank in foreign affairs, on which all the administrations rely on their ideas. So they are going to give me 2 hours again to speak and to interact and to ask questions about the democratic process in Tunisia, about all the situation here. So this is again to testify that the United States are not letting us down. They are still believing in us. They believe in the democratic process that we are engaged into, and therefore we need to clean up this mess once again, and it is almost cleaned up, because they know that what happened is not Tunisia. It is not the Tunisian people, and it is a very tiny minority that was fanaticized in a way or another, along with some thugs from the street who took advantage of the disorder of that day in order to loot and create havoc. But now we are overcoming that sad event.
Will you be given the opportunity to visit the Tunisian citizens who are still at Guantanamo Bay?
Oh, not this time. No, not this time. But we're going to discuss about it. I have a number of different political...
Where's the problem with that?
Oh, there's no big problem, but it is a matter of process. Again, we have technical elements to fix first. One of the biggest issues...
In the United States or here?
basically in Tunisia, because one of the biggest things that we have to do is to secure the future of these people, to give them jobs, to give them houses, to help in their social and economic insertion in Tunisia.
Or if they are clean, just set them free, and then we can find a solution to their problems.
Yes, but you know that they need guarantees. They need guarantees, and this is part of the guarantees they are looking for, because that means that they will have a social life and an economic life, and therefore they won't be thinking about any integration or of any extremist organization again. So this is part of the process without which we cannot reach the goal of freeing them and bringing them home.
Do you think it's possible to live normal life after spending years at Guantanamo Bay?
It is going to be very difficult, but we need to take care of them. We need to give them health care in a number of different aspects: psychological, physical, and we really need to take care of them if we want them to be full citizens again.
Many students have asked me the following question: we are waiting for teachers to come from China. They are expecting your feedback about these teachers.
Let me be very frank.
Yes, please.
I have no clear answer about that, but I promise you that at most tomorrow I will give you the answer. That will be certainly the official one. So I will get in touch with the Chinese embassy. I'll talk to the ambassador. Then I'll give you the information so that you can give it to students who are waiting for their teachers.
I will share it on my Facebook page, Hédi English. What's your final message to our listeners, to the Troika and to the Tunisian people?
Oh, my message is just to never to give up, to believe in themselves before believing in the others. They have to believe in the process we are engaged in, that it is our responsibility, and it is not the responsibility of any government or any political figure. It is for the Tunisians to create their own future. And I know that it is difficult. I know that they are suffering, but I think that they are intelligent enough to give us enough time to deliver, to give us enough time to implement what we have decided on the ground. And of course, you cannot harvest immediately, as I told you earlier. They need to think that it is again a process, and this process may go through different stages. But I'm quite confident that Tunisia will certainly have a very, very bright future. And we are not going to immigrate from our country to other countries. People are going to immigrate and to come and to live in Tunisia, because we have all the ingredients to make of this country heaven on earth.
Is this a dream?
No, it is not a dream. It is a realistic dream. I know that we have the possibility to do that. I know that we have enough intelligence, enough human resources on the one hand. We have a very, very nice, beautiful country. We are wonderfully situated on the world map. We have so many assets that if we put them all together and we find a good governance to create that articulation between all these assets, I'm quite confident that the future is with Tunisia. Because I know that a number of African countries, number of European countries are looking for the development of Tunisia as their own development, because it is going to start from Tunisia, and we are the gate, the open gate for Africa, the open gate to Europe in general, and many countries, many investors around the world look at Tunisia as their new platform, then the place to be if they want to develop the African market, if they want to even to develop the European one, because they can rely on Tunisian people, they can rely on our youth, they can rely on a new system that is based on transparency and good governance. And if you have all those ingredients, of course the future can only be bright.
Thank you for your optimism.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank the maestro, Jeanette Wahrani. Next news update in French and the German language program. Join me next Friday. I'll be here on Eid al-Adha. We will celebrate Eid al-Adha together. If you want to listen to tracks, just send me an email or post it on my Facebook page, RTCI, the English language program. Stay tuned to the best radio in Tunisia. Stay tuned to RTCI. Bye bye.